to clean water. That is important, which means that no one has little right to put anything in our beverages to make us do anything whatsoever. That is actually illegal as well as being immoral, and I'll say it outright. Lord God, that I believe in, will not tolerate that very long. He will eventually kill off the person that thinks they have the right to do that to other people. And I literally mean kill off. I've seen God kill things in seconds and multiples of them. That is a part of my faith journey, and because of something I said, he wanted to show me literally what that means. And I had to tell you, even though it was the smallest of creatures, I felt it in my soul that I might have said something wrong. Now, openly, I'll tell that story in another audiocast because I don't like to mix the concepts of politics with the concepts of spirituality, and that's literally not what this audiocast is about today. What I'm really trying to talk about here is the realities of a person's personhood. Personhood is literally where we have our rights. We have the right to state what we would like to have happen with our body. We make choices about our food, which impact our body. I literally know vegan people who it's clearly obvious to me that either they're overeating or they are not utilizing the food correctly, or the veganism that they've chosen for their life is inappropriate for their systems and their cells. A lot of people just choose something to do, but they don't always think about, am I feeling better? Am I looking better? Am I doing things right here for what Lord God has put for me in my cells specifically? Now, I can talk about God in that way, or we can just turn it into science and technology. Look, if you're incredibly overweight and you're vegan, you might not be handling the food correctly, or the food might not be a fit to your cells. And maybe you need a little pork, or you need a little bit of fish, or you need a little chicken in order to balance out your cells so that your body weight will reduce and you won't have as many lifelong problems with overweightness. And I don't mean to just pick on those folks at all, because I love a person who's got a little meat on their bones, but in reality, you've got to have an opportunity to talk about things in real time. When we are a little overweight, we produce illness in our bodies late in life. It gets harder to walk. It gets more difficult to breathe. It has more difficulties on our physical cellular system. We cannot produce every child to be super skinny and skinny as a rail like a model, and we certainly don't want that. What we want to produce is athletic, healthy children, and this is a responsibility of a parent. When you see an overweight parent, you almost always see an overweight child. The food is literally a device of sorts, and that is something that openly I'm rendering an opinion on, and anybody else can tell me to go to hell if they like, but don't you feel that's the truth? It's the same with an alcoholic. It's the same with someone who's dealing with other issues, and in reality, when anything is over-abused, it produces a result. That's all I'm saying here in a logical fashion. Now, in reality, it's sort of hard to sometimes follow why these audiocasts have different concepts or different themes, because there's literally a lot of different people that will start to listen to these audiocasts. Why? Because they will be put on their mind to think, I haven't heard that person before, or I like that person, and I'm going to listen, and they're going to gain something in their mind, and they're going to move on, and they're going to think about their own life in a different way. Or they're going to think about other people they love in a different way. What we're really talking about here is the rights of the personhood. The right to really decide what a cell in your body is going to handle. Here's the rub. No individual person has the same cellular health as another individual person. I talk about this greatly with my mother because she's always telling me what she likes, what she eats, and she's really scolded me a lot about not fundamentally liking some of the things she likes or even tolerating some of the things she likes. My body is very different. It has a very different chemistry structure. I literally know what foods I can and cannot handle. I know exactly what foods I'm supposed to eat at a particular time to fight off infection or to literally fight the people who've been destroying my right to my own cellular health. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. What I'm talking about is your rights. You see, your rights are your rights. I would never dream of openly going into your home, changing all the food in your refrigerator, or putting one little thing inside of any of your food without your knowledge. And if I was preparing a meal for you, I would literally pray about it, or I'd ask you, what do you like to eat? I wouldn't go off to a grocery store and just make purchases like, well, maybe she or he would like this. I actually know how to make those choices and get the right answers so that the person is overjoyed with the food without even talking to them, but literally, that's only been proven on a couple occasions. I'd like to prove it even further with some testing with some chefs, but in reality, I just ate a meal here that was supposed to be chicken noodle soup, and I had literally have to ask the server, what the hell is in my chicken noodle soup? And she was so fucking, lazy that she wouldn't actually walk into the kitchen and ask the chef. She did not understand her responsibility was to serve me in that moment. And what I mean by that is her legal liability, that if I was allergic to some leak or something that person put in my soup, I had to frigging know what that was. I have had diarrhea ever since that meal, and I am not happy about that. She failed. Then the secretary failed because I asked her what was in the soup. She literally said I got the message that I wanted her to talk about that with the staff and say, look, if someone asks you what's in the soup, go find out. But she failed in the fact that she never came and told me what was in the soup. So literally, I don't know if I have a new allergy going on because of what was eaten, or if someone maliciously put something in my soup to make me have this diarrhea. That's a problem of personhood. Where our rights begin and our rights end are not the same of where someone else's rights begin and where someone else's rights end. Now, I tell a little bit of my life story so that you will think a little bit more about your life. When you go to restaurants, what is your expectation? How do you handle and treat that server? We have some malicious folks in the serving world. They're there because they didn't get the right opportunities in education to move their lives into a position, to know specifically what their world's calling is, to get into those roles that will pay them well, and we sometimes treat those folks as subservient, and we should not ever treat anyone handling our food as not good enough. If their service sucks, that's one thing. I'm more than happy to talk to the manager about someone who is rude, inappropriate, or maybe just having a rough day and needs a timeout. But when it comes to the quality of a food product, or the safety is more importantly what I'm talking about of food, I have every right to say something to a manager about the fact that someone failed to tell me what a product was in the food. We all know lawsuits begin and end with that sort of crap. And someone in a serving position should know that, literally. Now, am I a law-abiding citizen? Absolutely. Am I a legalistic person who wants to get involved in all kinds of lawsuits? Absolutely not. What a waste of time. But in reality, we have people who violate our rights even in that realm, and I'll tell a story about that shortly. I'm going to make sure that people get what the law is not true. I'm no lawyer. I didn't study criminal justice. I'm not about to tell you what a law is on the books. Most of us don't have one friggin' clue what the police supposedly violate all the time with, but in reality, that's the point. Personhood is my personhood. Personhood is your personhood, and we have to literally take it down to the cellular level. Is something I'm doing towards someone else going to impact their cells in any way, shape, or form? And what I mean by that, I mean every aspect of that. Their body on the outside, their body on the inside. And what are my rights to another person's body are absolutely none. Physicians have to get this, lawyers most definitely have to get this, and mental health professionals absolutely have to get this. But I'm going to talk about that again in another audiocast. You see, I'm wanting to make sure you know that this series is going to talk about a lot of interesting things, a lot of truthful things, a lot of real things, to make you think about how can you make changes in your life, how can you protect your life, and how can you literally have a life worth living, and a retirement eventually worth having, meaning that you're going to make enough money in life to retire. Your children are not going to be burdened with you. And otherwise, you might have to change course in career. And here's where people get lazy. They think, I'll just stick it out. If you stick it out, you'll be stuck. And literally, it means you'll be stuck in something that could produce the fact that you'll be working forever in a program or in a system or in a company that you literally don't like, making a horrible little wage and not really ever having enough to food to eat and to literally ever retire and just enjoy some peaceful moments in your elder years. That's what I'm talking about, the realities of life. So if you like these audiocasts, if you think it's kind of different, if you literally like what I'm saying, please reach out. Let me know. Make a comment below on LinkedIn, and just give me a thumbs up at the very least. I'm not producing anything unusual, maybe. I'm not producing anything amazing, maybe. But in truth, how many of you are talking about anything remotely real in your professional life with other people? My professional life is about marketing, people, products, and services, or programs, as I like to say it. The 3 Ps, people, products, and programs. But I also have a language gift, and I've taught many people how to speak Japanese, literally. But someone thought they should go into my home and steal all the photographs of all my students and my work that I did in those programs. Who literally gave that person the right to do that? What a monster. An absolute monster to walk into someone's locked home through a locked door and take an entire tub, I mean literally an entire 18-gallon plus tub of photographs from my entire life and throw them away, take them home, pretend they're theirs. I don't literally know why they would do that. But what a monstrous individual. My entire life's work destroyed in one moment by a selfish bastard who thought they literally had the right to do that. I'm ashamed that there's a person like that in this world, period. This is where we get to in life. We must train our children from the ages of kindergarten through at least the 5th grade what personhood means, what property means, and what paperwork is important in life. All the other education doesn't matter, frankly. All the little studies of animals and science and crap doesn't matter. It matters only to the children who love that stuff. Health and healthy eating is important. That should be taught in kindergarten through 5th grade and maybe all the way through the educational field. Even at college, there should be a graduated course where kids learn about food and nutrition constantly. They need home economics to learn to sew, to learn to press things, to learn to do all sorts of stuff that are required in adult life. Where do they think these kids learn this stuff? Moms are not the same as they once were in the 50s. Dads are overly worked and booked and practically not at home a lot. So the educational system is not taking over for parenting, but they are taking over teaching life skills, and they tend to only teach that to the kids that they label special. I don't think the kids are necessarily special. I think they just have a different learning style. And they can become all they can be in the right programming. So let's get back to life. Life is about loving other people. Life is about creating peace in families. And life is about deciding where my rights begin and end. And I've had my own family members violate my personhood rights. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I'm letting you know that when I talk passionately about things, that's a reason. It's a reason because during the last 3 years, my rights have been violated constantly by people that I know, love, and trust, and people that I don't know, like at all, and definitely don't trust. So that's the reality. Now, this is an unusual audiocast. If you like unusual things, then you'll continue to listen, or you'll pass it along to someone else, or you'll just give me, hey, that was kind of a different sort of thing. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate you and the time that you're literally taking to listen to me, and I wish you all the best in your life. May you find a life worth living and a retirement worth having. This is Blake Ensign of Communications LLC. Thanks for being with me today.